Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to the Big Mouth Daily Live, and you're very welcome. And today we're going to talk about Bloodsport versus Superman potentially in the Suicide Squad. Now I want to be clear to you, I have seen a test screening of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, but they made it very clear to us that we weren't watching the whole movie. I saw no Superman in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, but I do have a theory. We know in the film Bloodsport is in prison because he shot Superman, or he shot at Superman with a kryptonite bullet. Right, so this potentially, I haven't seen this by the way, potentially could mean a Henry Cavill Superman cameo in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Why is this important? Because if this actually happens, this would be very, very exciting, because this means from the first film since the last film, which was Wonder Woman 84, we have our first Superman cameo. It means potentially the rumor we heard about a year ago that Superman, Henry Cavill's Superman, would be cameoing in most DCEU films or DC properties would happen. You could have one in the Suicide Squad. You could have one potentially in Aquaman 2 and Shazam: Fury of the Gods and Black Adam and and Flashpoint, which I'm sure that will happen in. So this would be awesome. So look at the scenario. Think about the scenario. So we already know it's a fact. Bloodsport shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet, right? That's why he's in prison. So what if Henry Cavill's Superman at the end of the movie comes back for a bit of payback to grab him and put him back in prison? Or maybe he escapes. Maybe from this moment on, from James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, this could be an ongoing feud between Idris Elba's Bloodsport and Superman. That would be awesome. That really would. So that's the kind of thing I would be looking to be doing if I was James Gunn and if I was Walter Hamada, because it would be very exciting. These are the kind of things people want to see. An ongoing feud between Bloodsport and Superman would be awesome, knowing that he's already shot at the guy with a kryptonite bullet, and that's why he's in jail. If Superman turns up in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, and I repeat, I didn't see the whole movie in the test screening. I just saw what they wanted me to see, but I didn't see any Superman. But certainly Bloodsport shooting Superman with a kryptonite bullet is a thing, right? That's why he's in prison. So it could be very, very viable that Superman turns up to get some revenge by the end of the movie and put Bloodsport in jail. And as I say, this could be an ongoing feud. I think that would be absolutely awesome, and I'm sure a lot of Superman fans would be very, very excited about that. And I certainly would be. I've been thinking about it a lot, really, ever since I saw the test screening. This possibility of Henry Cavill's Superman being in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Now, before I didn't think that was possible, but when I saw the test screening, and it is a thing that he shoots Superman with a kryptonite bullet, and that's why he's in prison. It makes sense that why would they do this? Is this just, look, first of all, James Gunn's awesome for even coming up with this. But why would they do this if they're not planning in having Superman in a little cameo in the movie? Now, I don't think they're officially going to reveal any Henry Cavill Superman cameos. The reason for this being they want it to be a surprise, right? Of course, Twitter goes on with its agenda. Let me be absolutely clear here so there's no misunderstandings where I stand. Henry Cavill going to Marvel would break my heart. I would not be laughing, ha ha, WB, and no DC fan worth their salt would want this just to get some cheap ha ha ha's out of Warner Brothers, Warner Media, or whoever you hate at the given day when you've gotten up on the wrong side of the bed. Is something a real DC fan wouldn't want. It pisses me off that Russell Crowe and Christian Bale are going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder. They're actors, they have to work. It's nothing to do with them personally. I don't have any grievance with them for doing this. But to want something like that would be absolutely outrageous. What we want is Henry Cavill, for starters, cameoing in all these DCEU movies. That would be so exciting. So if they're able to pull this off, and James Gunn's been able to pull this off in his Suicide Squad movie, it's a big win. Now, we know David Ayer's Suicide Squad film had The Flash in it. It had Ben Affleck's The Batman and Bruce Wayne in it. Quite a few cameos. And the interconnective tissue of Zack Snyder's Snyderverse really revealed itself in that film. And don't forget, BVS continues straight off the bat from MOS. So Zack Snyder's movies had a lot of great connective tissue. And this new DCEU is promising. Eleanor Salter, hello. Good morning from Cyprus. It's 5 to 10 in the morning. So it will be very exciting if Henry Cavill's Superman was to cameo in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad and have this ongoing feud with Bloodsport. And I can see it's a possibility for sure. I would be very, very excited about that. So that's where I am this morning. And I'm excited for this movie. And if anyone can pull off a Superman Henry Cavill cameo in The Suicide Squad or any DCEU movie, it's James Gunn. And I know that Henry would be up for that. I don't want to hear nonsense that he's unfollowing WB. He wasn't following the things you're saying he followed in the first place, or that he's following Marvel. I'm not interested. In England, it's nearly 8 a.m. I know. It's not. No, it's not. No, hang on. Yes, sorry, you're right and I'm wrong. I got my timings wrong, yes. 5 to 8 in the morning over in the UK. You're right, Eleanor. So good morning, UK. There's 2 people watching. One other than you, Eleanor. I think it's too early for everyone else. I wanted to get this Big Mouth Daily Live done early so I can do some other stuff. Got some writing to do and things like that. And I've got it's sunny out there. You can probably see the sun coming through. So I would be so excited if Superman was to cameo in The Suicide Squad. Morning to you too. Thank you, Eleanor. So this is where I am. I'm wearing my Superman pride. I'm wearing my Superman top with pride because I believe this is a possibility. No one's told me this is happening, but I just feel, as he's made it a thing, that Bloodsport's in jail because he shoots Superman with a kryptonite bullet. First, as I say, that's so awesome. I think we could very probably get a Superman cameo here. But not only that, he's now teasing multiple post-credit scenes in his movie. This is the kind of classy stuff we get. Eleanor Salter, it's supposed to be thunder and lightning, typical UK, right? Not in Cyprus, though. We're not getting any thunder and lightning, unless it's a shocker that I don't know about. But Cyprus is amber. So I can't come to the UK unless I isolate for 10 days and spend loads of money on testing. So that's not going to happen for a while. And I was hoping to come over next month. Never mind. I'll just have to live in paradise a little bit longer. And so, yes, James Gunn is teasing. Someone said, is there at least one post-credit scene? This is what someone on Twitter asked James Gunn. And he said, one, just the one with a question mark. So there's going to be a few post-credit scenes in this film. So I'm getting more and more excited to see the theatrical cut of this movie. I can't wait to go to the movie theatre. By August, we'll definitely be opened up with cinemas here in Cyprus too. So it's very exciting. I expect this film to gross about $1 billion globally. It's going to be very successful. It will definitely be the most streamed movie of the year on HBO Max as well. So bringing in James Gunn was a smart move. Now, there's a lot of haters out there that don't want James Gunn involved. You know, he's a Marvel spy, he's this and that. Listen, we got 3 Snyder movies. We could get more. Who knows? But we've got to be fair to other fans as well, because some of those fans are not into the Snyder movies. So we're trying to make this a multiverse where everyone can get what they want. This was the thing I've been saying ever since they announced the multiverse strategy at Fandom. This is why I was so excited about the multiverse strategy at Fandom. So we're going to get cameos. We've already been told Peacemaker kind of links into the rest of the DCEU, which is exciting. And then next year, 4 movies, 3 DC TV shows, Green Lantern Corps, Gotham PD, and Peacemaker, of course. Season 1, because James Gunn is teasing multiple seasons of Peacemaker as well, which is so we get this new DCEU up and running next year. Well, really, this year with James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which I'm really, really excited about. As I say, this is going to be, so exciting, especially if Superman is in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Imagine everyone's reaction. Who's going to hate that? Are you going to convince people to boycott that movie? No. And imagine the repeat viewings on that movie if Henry Cavill's Superman does show up as well. Elena Salter, lucky. It's a lovely country, it really is. And where I live is so peaceful. Not a lot of people bother me here, which is great because I don't really like people. So that's cool. People complicate things. So that's what I'm looking at right now. A new kind of way of going at the DCEU by people who actually know what they're doing is very important. Now, Ann Sarnoff said it's not one person who's running the thing. It's a conglomeration of people with different ideas. That could work as well, by the way. I think if you've got one dictator running the whole thing, yes, it works for the MCU to a point. But I think different people with different ideas makes it not a dictatorship, which I think is very good as well. So we will see. But James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is coming this August, and I can't wait. And let's cross our fingers for that Henry Cavill and Bloodsport then, because if that's the thing, if they're actually going to have this ongoing feud, could be a lot of fun. But we'll have to wait and see for that. So, in other news, DCEU actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan has addressed the possibility of him returning for a Flashpoint Batman movie. I probably have like another 2-3 year window, and then I'm going to be too old, full quote. So let's click on to DCEU Direct. Jeffrey Dean Morgan addresses possible Flashpoint Batman movie appearance. The DC Extended Universe is set to bring numerous sequels into the fray over the next few years, including debuts for new characters like John Cena's Peacemaker in The Suicide Squad and Aldous Hodges' Hawkman in Black. However, even with so much exciting material confirmed to be on the way, there have always been a few what-if cases that have stood out in the franchise's history. One of these came with when The Walking Dead's Jeffrey Dean Morgan had a short-lived cameo in 2016's Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice as Thomas Wayne. All fans have gotten from his character Var is the oft-maligned Martha moment from that film, although Morgan has often spoken of how much he would love to fully explore the character's comic story. His most recent interview reconfirmed this desire to give more depth to the elder Wayne. Actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan chatted with Cinepop about whether his return to the DCEU as Flashpoint Batman is still a possibility. Morgan spoke about Batman having always been his favourite superhero, admitting that talking about Flashpoint has been very fun. While he has no idea what's going on with DC or the Flashpoint story, he reiterated that he's available but only has another 2-3 year window before he may be too old to take on the role. This is what Jeremy Dean Morgan had to say. At the top of my list has always been Batman. That's always been my favourite superhero. And talking about Flashpoint has been very fun. I get asked about it a lot. I love the story of Flashpoint Batman. Who knows? Who knows with DC? Who knows with how these franchises work? I suppose I probably have like another 2-3 year window, and then I'm going to be too old. There's no way. So look, I'm available. Everybody knows I'm available. I say I'm available. I've been saying it for 5 years. We'll see what happens. There's so many superheroes. Manny V, morning Mick. Raining here in, what's ZL? Morgan also touched on the DC anti-hero Lobo, saying that he really wanted to do Lobo for a long time. That would be awesome. The actor teased that he may have something maybe cooking and that hopes that he gets to stay playing in this world for a long time. regardless of what happens in the near future. I like Lobo a lot. I really wanted to do Lobo for a long time, but we'll see, we'll see. I have something maybe cooking, and I'll let you know soon if that turns out to be. But I love the world of comic books, and I hope that I get to stay playing in this world for a long time. The interviewer mentioned how exciting it will be to see Morgan take on Flashpoint Batman as well, to which Morgan excitedly responded, "Thank you very much. I hope so." So this is interesting. Will Flashpoint Batman ever happen? Manny me, morning Mick, raining here in London, I meant. London, yes, London's a rainy city, isn't it? We're just talking about Jeremy Dean Morgan maybe reprising his role as Flashpoint Batman. Excuse me. Will Flashpoint Batman ever happen? Jeffrey Dean Morgan's relationship with the DCEU became complicated fairly quickly after Warner Brothers appeared to move away from continuing with the Snyderverse. His relationship with director Zack Snyder has remained solid even though the studio decided to bring back Michael Keaton's 1989 Batman, as opposed to developing Morgan's hero. Morgan's interview clearly indicates that he's still passionate about bringing the character to life on the big screen, especially since Flashpoint Batman hasn't been developed in major live-action projects to date. However, the clock is certainly ticking if Warner Bros. Wants to bring him back after everything that will happen in The Flash. The Flash is currently shooting in preparation for release on November the 4th, 2022. The full interview with Jeffrey Dean Morgan can be seen below. So this is interesting. He says how he wants to play Flashpoint Batman. He'd love to play Lobo. He says he's got something cooking. We'll have to wait and see. Now, when he says he's got something cooking, does he mean in superheroes? Does he mean in DC? This is interesting. It could be that we still see his Flashpoint Batman, although it's unlikely because they've got Michael Keaton involved, but they actually could both be involved. He could get a small cameo as well, which will be interesting. Now he mentions Lobo. Could Lobo be the thing he's got cooking? That would be even more awesome than Flashpoint Batman. Imagine seeing Jeffrey Dean Morgan's Lobo in the DCEU, the Flashpoint especially. Manny V, that would be amazing if he does make an appearance on, as Flashpoint Bats, but I don't know. Nobody does, but he did say in this interview that he does have something cooking. Now, where he's got it cooking, in the kitchen maybe, or in DC, I don't know. But the way he's talking, I think there's a lot of hope here that he will turn up. It looks like WB and not know nothings like a lot of people think. So that's a very, very hopeful interview. And let's hope we see him in the future in the DCEU. Manny V, what do you think of Henry Cavill unfollowing DC and Warner Media on social media? WM unfollowed him as well. Well, I heard from a very big Henry Cavill fan that he never followed the sites that he unfollowed, that he allegedly unfollowed. So that's interesting. Apparently, he never followed those accounts in the first place. So if he has unfollowed those accounts, that's not good news. That this morning, Manny V, I've been talking about Henry Cavill potentially playing Superman in the Suicide Squad. So, because we know Bloodsport shoots Superman with a kryptonite bullet, Superman could come back at the end of the movie and put him in prison. So that would be very interesting, Manny V. Yeah, there's screenshots, but you can't trust those screenshots, mate. But anyway, we will find out. I mean, don't forget, all the Warner Brothers accounts followed Zack Snyder when Zack Snyder's Justice League was announced. We thought that meant he was back in and he was going to restore the Snyderverse, and it didn't happen. A lot of people, and I'm going to have this conversation now with you here, Manny V, to be absolutely clear. People hoping that he moves to Marvel and gets revenge on WB are not true DC fans as far as I'm concerned. That would break my heart. I don't want that. I want him to continue at least in cameo form. Now, there could be another scenario. Maybe Bloodsport killed Superman with that kryptonite bullet. And this is their way of removing Henry's Superman off screen in the DCEU. Now, of course, that would be devastating. That would frustrate many, including me, or they could even put a new actor in as Superman to cameo in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad to do what I've already said he may do, which is come and pick Bloodsport up at the end of the movie and throw him in prison, which would be very, very interesting. So whether Henry Cavill is staying or going, we are going to have different Supermen in this connective multiverse. I believe Brandon Routh's. We've already got Tyler Hoechlin's as well. He'll probably be involved in Flashpoint as well. So we've got a couple of Supermen. I love Henry Cavill's Superman. I hope he cameos in all these DCEU movies. Now, if true that he's unfollowed these accounts, that would be bad. But I'm not convinced that that even means anything. Manny V, I just want everyone to be happy. And if it means they do their own thing away from DC, I'm good with it. Well, you know what, Manny? I'm a passionate fan. I'm happy for Henry to make his career choices. If he went to Marvel, I wouldn't have any issue with Henry after the way he's been treated. Let's be absolutely clear here. But would I be happy that my DC actors are moving to Marvel, a franchise I despise because I'm so envious of their success? No way. I want Henry Cavill playing Superman over at the DCEU for the rest of his career. That's what I want. So I'm not going to say, oh, as long as everyone's happy, I'll be fine. No, I won't be happy. I'll be absolutely devastated. And you'll see my angry response because it's all becoming too toxic for everyone. Well, Manny, the entertainment industry is a toxic place, my friend. And these people are used to it. These people can handle it. It's fine. So, and fandoms are toxic anyway. I'm a Man United fan. Toxic fan base, Snyderverse, we're all toxic. We're all toxic everywhere because we're all so passionate. Life's about passion. So when you're passionate about stuff, there's very little happiness in that because you're always triggered by something. There's always something going on. And now with the internet, I said on one of my social media platforms this morning, I said, on the internet, we're always talking about stuff we don't like, not stuff that we like. Things that we don't want rather than what we want. And, you know, just more positive, half glass full things. And this is what social media has become with movie fandom too. So despite everyone, as usual, making shit up and creating it as fact, Henry Cavill's going to Marvel. He's unfollowed this. He's unfollowed that. I don't really care. If he has unfollowed those accounts, then it's over for Henry Cavill. We get another Superman. We've got about 3 Supermen in the DCEU. We've got 1 active Superman in Tyler Hoechlin. I will continue to support him. We have got another 2 Supermen potentially returning, Brandon Routh and Nicolas Cage as well. So if they've fallen out, I mean, I predicted after Justice League, Henry Cavill and Batfleck wouldn't come back at all. I said the die was cast with them, the way Joss Whedon dealt with them. The cringy smile from Batman, you know, Henry's upper lip CG. They destroyed the man's face. So I don't blame him if he wants to leave and he's gone. He's tried his best. He even brought a director with them with a script, right? He tried. Henry tried everything. So it's nothing personal about Henry. But no one should expect me to be happy about him going to the enemy. Yes, the enemy. That's what they are. It's like when Michael Owen went from Liverpool to Manchester United. I'm a United fan. Didn't bother me. I was happy. But these are the things. Fandoms shouldn't be comfortable about that because at the end of the day, DC has struggled so much in live action and we want the best franchise that everyone's envious of us. We want the best movies. We want the best box office. We want the best reviews. We want to brag that we're better than the MCU. What we don't want is the MCU poaching our actors like Russell Crowe, like Christian Bale. That sticks in my throat. I don't like that. I don't like it. It pisses me off. It should piss me off. You know, it should piss DC fans off. DC fans shouldn't be saying, oh, wouldn't it be good if he went to Marvel? That'll teach WB. Non-DC fan mentality. Non-DC fan mentality. Wishing Henry Cavill goes to the MCU. If you're a Marvel fan, you should wish that he plays Captain Britain or that other character who's like Superman. He would be a great addition to your universe. But a DC fan going on Twitter saying this will teach WB a lesson. You effing little frauds, because all you're interested in is Zack Snyder, and you're not real DC fans. And I love Zack Snyder, but DC comes first. This comes first. before any director or anyone, any loyalty. And I want the best DC platform. And I don't want my actors going to Marvel. Local Warren, what's your opinion on J.J. Abrams? When I first was introduced to Alias and Lost, I was obsessed with J.J. As a creative, he's a genius. I think his strength was television. He should have stayed on television, but he got ambitious. He got into films, and now he's become a bureaucrat. Now he's become more a businessman. He doesn't seem very interested in actually calling action. So it hasn't worked out. So when I look at his other projects, Star Trek 2009, great movie, great recreation of Star Trek. Star Trek Into Darkness, not a great Star Trek film, but a good movie. That's my opinion on that. Star Wars The Force Awakens was a good, solid start. The Rise of Skywalker, the poor man just came back to solidify the situation, to calm it down. There was nothing he could do. It's as John Boyega said, you brought him back. He wasn't even meant to come back, and you brought him back to fix your shit. So look, we've got to be clear here. All these creatives now are all left in Hollywood, and they say a lot of stuff. And they have this weirdo mentality where they talk mostly politics rather than entertainment. They're all like that. But in terms of a creative, J.J. Abrams is very good. Let's not forget about Fringe either. What a great show that was. So the man's clearly very good at creating great stories and entertainment. Now, he could be the next chairman of Warner Brothers Pictures, film chairman, which would be interesting because we've never really had a filmmaker running the film department of a film studio. So that would be exciting to me. So that's where I see JJ going right now, running WB Pictures. But I like JJ Abrams mostly. And I'm not like these people who call him Jar Jar Abrams and things like that, because it's a very tunnel vision way of looking at the man. Look at him as a director and a writer. He's very good indeed. But wishing for Henry Cavill to go to Marvel. No. I'm not having none of that, everyone. Right. President Superman's daily routine proves he's the best world leader. This is by Ben Rolfe of Screen Rant, and I thought I'd read this because we're all talking about Black Superman right now, aren't we? In Infinite Frontier Secret Files 1, President Superman proves that he is one of the world's greatest and busiest leaders as he reveals his routine. This will be an awesome story to adapt. What's wrong with these people? Although we don't really know. We don't really know what the film's going to be. All we know is a 20th century kind of piece, isn't it? So a period piece. So in Infinite Frontier Secret Files 1, Earth's 23 Superman just proved why he's a great superhero and world leader. At the exact same time, occasionally entire issues are dedicated to one character and their daily routine, giving readers an insight into the daily goings-on of their favourite heroes. In Future State, DC revealed Superman's son, Jonathan Kent, does the same routine every morning. Superboy saves the same planet every day, over and over, from destruction. This is exactly the format that Infinite Frontier Secret Files 1 adopts. However, this time, it focuses on Earth 23 Superman Calvin Ellis. What makes Ellis differ from all other versions of Superman is that he is the president, something that no other Superman has achieved. President Superman's inclusion in Infinite Frontier couldn't have come at a better time, as it's been reported that he could be up for the Superman live action treatment very soon. The format of this new miniseries allows the leading characters of DC's upcoming Infinite Frontier series to be spotlighted each issue. We'll delve into the origins of most heroes that will appear in the new series. President Superman's daily routine is revealed in this issue of Infinite Frontier. Secret Files 1 by Joshua Williamson, Brandon Thomas, Valentine Delandro, Maurice Louise, and Triona Farrell. Before 8:30 a.m., Calvin has his daily briefing at the White House. On this day, they are strategizing how to stop the alien armada heading for the moon. Calvin, in his narration, notes that his advisors' plans are different and would probably unsuccessful. He says that the answer to their needs is right in front of them, but they can't see it because their fear blinds them. It's a job for Superman. His routine is led sideways when he's made aware of a robot version of Brainiac on the loose, which he handles swiftly. That gets me to thinking, actually, because we could actually have a situation where we do have President Superman in this Superman movie, but this is kind of an origin of it, right? You know, arriving in 1938, maybe, as I said before, like a Spartacus movie, he rises up and eventually becomes the president in a trilogy of films. Who knows? Everyone's jumping to judge what they're doing without knowing the facts. This is the problem with the internet these days, boys and girls. At just past 9 a.m., President Superman continues his supering as he visits the House of Heroes. He talks to a robotic Earth 8 hero named Machine Head, who works on taking down the last of Brainiac's online presence. Just before 10 a.m., Calvin flies back to Smallville, where he sits down for morning prayer with his family. At 10:13 a.m., Calvin decloaks and returns to the White House for a short diplomatic lunch with the Markovian ambassador. Calvin's day is unraveled by 11:42 a.m. as he takes down a small-time villain. Brainiac attacks again. He fixes the Daily Planet and defeats a Kryptonian who has opened up a multiversal breach. All of this adds up to him being 50 minutes ahead of schedule before he heads to Moon 3 to take down the incoming alien armada. Balancing his duty as the Superman of Earth 23 and being president, he is able to accomplish an incredible amount in one day. According to this issue, most other days are just as action-packed as this. If this issue proves anything, it's that President Superman is completely dedicated to his roles, and he knows that if he fails to show up, the world would go pear-shaped. Infinite Frontiers Secret Files 1 is available on participating digital platforms now. Yeah, a very interesting article, by the way. I liked that. And it shows you the potential in this situation. I kind of like that. I like the idea, instead of him being at the Daily Planet, he has to fly from the White House to save people and save situations. If they did this as a movie, as I explained, as a trilogy, building him up to becoming President Superman, that will be interesting. But nobody knows what's going on, and everyone's jumped. They're doing this, they're doing the original colour, blah, 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 blah. You don't know, you don't know, you don't know. So why don't you judge it when you do know? Knowing that the children in DC Comics Teen Titans Academy are doomed in future state is what makes it such a compelling and poignant series. Is there any comic book readers here? I like to read comic book articles sometimes because I don't talk about comics enough. Teen Titans Academy is already one of DC's saddest stories. Anyone read this? Knowing that the children of DC's Teen Titans Academy are doomed in future state is what makes it such a compelling and poignant series to read, by Stephen Blackburn of Screen Rant. With numerous sources already hinting at the tragedies that will befall the students of Teen Titans Academy, the nascent series is already one of DC's saddest stories ever. Future State provided the first and worst possible outcome that could ever befall these special youngsters on its own. Future State Teen Titans' death toll was quite substantial, but the dreary, heart-wrenching images depicting rows upon rows of Tombstone may have a sobering effect even outside of the Future State. The fact that Spectre didn't know Wonder Woman that was about to befall the young Titan wannabes during his guided tour of earthly happenings in Infinite Frontier Null added yet another level of dread to the new DC Omniverse. The point of this execution was to give Wonder Woman peace of mind so she could ascend before the mortal realm. It's telling that only portion of the tour that he skipped involved Teen Titan Academy, since it implies that what he would have shown her would have been so terrible that Wonder Woman would have decided to stay and help them prevent the mass graveyard scene in Future State. Though every grave in Teen Titans Future State represents a tragedy, one stands out: the grave for the student named Matt Price. By Tim Sheridan, Rafa Sandoval, Jody Tarragona, Alejandro Sanchez, and Rob Lee, Teen Titans Academy 2 focuses on the young hero named Matt Price and musters up the most poignant feelings in the reader as a result. Matt is essentially like the Connor Kent Superboy who has no memory of his past, and he struggles with this lack of identity and connections. It's tragic that he could die without ever learning about his origins. Even the moments where the students are barely present have a sadder quality to them, such as during the conversation between Nightwing and Cyborg in the scene. Nightwing tries to express his frustration to Cyborg about his relationship with Starfire and how she is jealous of him hanging out with Barbara Gordon while in Bloodhaven. But since Cyborg is currently teaching a class, they are constantly getting interrupted by students who have forgotten certain items in various places and need permission to leave. After each student departs, the two teachers can't help but discuss them for a few moments, and once they finally get back to the original topic of discussion, they are interrupted once more by another student. These interruptions are humorous, but humanize the children of Teen Titans Academy to a startling degree, since having to leave class to retrieve a forgotten item is an ubiquitous, what's that? No, fuck that word, can't read it, experience. Moreover, the fact that Cyborg and Nightwing can't help but talk about the students who just interrupted their conversation subtly conveys how even the students' most minuscule and insignificant actions cause an immediate reaction. It's just a brief encounter is able to compel their teachers to talk about them. Then the reader can't help but imagine how much of an impact these students would have made, saving a person, a city, or even an entire world. But then the reader is suddenly reminded that maybe this is the most these students will ever be able to impact. And it's a shame because of the two extremely unsettling instances in Future State and Infinite Frontier that foretell a dismal future for the Teen Titans. Readers can't help but become more invested in every interaction between the students at the Teen Titans Academy, knowing that they may very likely soon perish. Every joke, every quirk, every backstory is now tainted and impossible not to view through a more poignant lens. What makes Teen Titans Academy so effective is knowing that the lives of the children are doomed. Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know about this one. And someone said that DC Comics are dead. You wish, you wish, you wish. So our final article of today is, here's why Warner Brothers might favour Joker sequel over other DC villain movies. But of course, we don't know if they're developing a DC Dark anyway. Why Joker 2 might happen instead of another DC villain movie. Following the huge success of 2019's Joker, a Joker 2 is reportedly in the works, which makes sense as opposed to another villain film. Here's why, by Andy, whose surname I can't pronounce, from Screen Rant. Despite so many other DC Comics villains who could lead their own movies like Joker, Warner Brothers is still developing Joker 2 with several important factors to consider. While there have been endless amount of Joker portrayals for decades, it wasn't until 2019 with Joaquin Phoenix's iteration that the Clown Prince of Crime got his own standalone film. Directed by Todd Phillips, Joker tells the story of Arthur Fleck and how he becomes the iconic Batman villain as a dark character study. The plan was always to make this story a one-and-done film, as opposed to beginning a Joker franchise. While there were conflicting reports in 2019 about a follow-up happening, it was recently reported that Joker 2 is in the works after all, which is very exciting. No details about the plot have been revealed thus far, nor has the creative team, since there is no word on who will direct and write the script. Many have commented that there are so many other villains who could get their own Joker-like films, whether it would be from Batman's Rogues Gallery or other supervillains. However, it makes sense from a studio perspective to pursue a Joker 2 for multiple reasons. One of the enormous components of Joker's success was its worldwide box office results. With barely an $80 million budget thanks to Walter Hamada, Joker did $1.7 billion globally, making it one of Warner Brothers' biggest commercial success is based on the DC brand. But Joker's financial success isn't the only reason the studio is pursuing a sequel. For as long as the Caped Crusader has been in media, Batman has always been one of the studio's most popular IPs, whether it be TV shows, movies, video games, or merchandise. Despite Joker not being a Batman film, it's still set within that corner of the DC universe, which is something that mainstream audiences are still drawn to. Joker 2 would allow this continuity to explore further Phillips' Gotham City and what his Batman might look like, especially after Arthur and young Bruce's interactions. Out of all the Batman villains, Joker is by far the most recognizable one, even to non-comic readers. But outside of the character's worldwide following and Joker's massive box office results, there is also the actor behind the clown makeup. Good point. In February 2020, Phoenix became the second actor to ever earn an Academy Award for playing the Joker, following the late Heath Ledger, who won an Oscar posthumously, I can't do that word, in 2009 for his Joker portrayal in The Dark Knight. Phoenix's Best Actor accolade was one of the 11 Academy Award nominations Joker had received. 11 Academy Award nominations for a DC movie, right? You bet your bottom dollar they're going to do more. With Hilda Gondutia winning in the Best Original Score category. What a score, by the way. Joker was also up for Best Picture, which doesn't often happen with comic book and superhero movies. Outside the Oscars, Joker was nominated for multiple awards and won in several categories, including Phoenix getting a Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama. It makes sense why Warner Brothers would want to go forward with Joker 2, where there is a potential for another compelling story, as well as a financial and critical success. While there are multiple directions that Joker 2 can go, if the sequel is a success, hopefully it will be what encourages Warner Brothers to explore other villains too. Whether it is Superman, Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman, or other Justice League villains, the DC Universe has a rich and endless supply of antagonists who could benefit from the Joker treatment. If the studio wants to expand the DC Black-inspired brand, they need to think outside of Joker 2 and look at other DC villains that could do just as well as Joker if given the opportunity. But here's my theory about Joker 2, the Joker sequel. Want to hear it? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway as you're here, so don't go away, all two of you. What if the Joker sequel brings together the other villains, right? Little cameos for these different villains. So this is Joker's movie still, and then in the next film, they pick these villains off and they do origin stories for them. So just because you're not getting a certain new villain, it doesn't mean we won't see these villains as cameos in the Joker sequel, and in other movies, they'll look to develop that. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, and I think that would make sense. So from what we can see with the future of the DC live-action universe, it seems in good hands. It sounds very exciting, but you can't judge a piece of food until you've tasted it. And I know there's a lot of people out there shooting flames at the new Central Universe. No DC Dark. It looks like it's coming. And I will say again, anyone wishing for Henry Cavill to go to Marvel, please don't bother with me. You don't get it. You don't get it. You really don't get it. But I think my opening theory of today's Big Mouth Daily Live is probably pretty accurate. That Henry Cavill's Superman will cameo in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. He will actually have this ongoing feud with Bloodsport, and will come to put him in prison at the end of the movie. Maybe they'll have a little battle. Be a bit difficult, but if he knows kryptonite's his weakness, he can weaken him. We may even get Superman in Aquaman 2. Now, we saw Superman defeat Aquaman quite easily in Justice League, something I didn't like. But take the battle to underwater, then Superman and Aquaman, or let's say Superman's helping Aquaman fight the other Atlanteans or whatever's going on, right? Underwater, the match will be more even, but you can always use kryptonite. Don't forget that. But I would like to see him in all these DCEU movies. It's going to be interesting. I predict there'll be some Henry Cavill news, positive or negative, very, very soon. Well, that's it for today's Big Mouth Daily Live. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I'll be back tonight around 6:30 p.m. UK time with Big Mouth Live, and we're going to have a lot of topics to talk about. So please tune in. What I want from you, all bring one mate in, or bring as many mates in. Geeks, let's not bore people. Geeks, and let's see if we can have a good, long chat. Maybe it can go longer than an hour. Let's see if we can beat our record. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. Come and follow me on Twitter, @MoviesTVMad. I hope you're enjoying the live streams, and I'll see you tonight around 6:30 for Big Mouth Live. I can't wait for that one. Whatever you're doing today or tonight, have a nice night. Have a nice day. If you're Dracula going out, have a good, prosperous night. Suck some blood. Have a good time. And I'll see you tonight. Until then, bye.